just Tiff, just settle down, let's talk about it, cause that's what she's gonna do. It's just Tiff, talking a little of this and some of that too, cause it's just Tiff.
Hello, welcome to the Just Tiff podcast, where I tell you guys some real life stories about some real life topics. This is episode number 27. Whoop, whoop. Thank you guys for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Today, I was watching one of my favorite podcasts. Is this going to cause an argument with Angel Tanksley and her husband Marcus Tanksley? And they were covering a topic from another podcast with a guy named Glenn and his wife Yvette Henry, and their podcast is called How Married Are You? Sorry, y'all, because I'm not familiar with their podcast. I was just introduced to it today. But I'm going to play you guys this story. Y'all bear with me and my Wi-Fi and my daughter's tablet, because I'm doing it. I ain't got enough money to be, putting the video in and do it. We'll get there one day. We're not there yet. So I'm going to play you guys the snippet of the conversation or the TikTok video that they made about carrying weight. Okay. Y'all bear with me.
I tried to lift up your weight because I wanted to just see if I could carry it. And after I did that, I literally did that and then went back and sat down on the bench, and I had this revelation in my spirit that was like, the weight that he's carrying is not meant for me.
That's so good.
I started to think about how, for me, and I'm just being completely transparent here, I often am like, ugh, it's so hard. This is all just so hard. It's so much. Life is hard. And then I look at him and I'm like, he's living a good life. I be looking at him like, I kind of want to trade spots. I kind of want to be in his shoes and he be in my shoes, and, let's just whatever. And when I tried to lift up that weight, I was like, I don't even know what he's carrying. I can try to imagine. I can try to anticipate what it is.
Okay, so that's as much as I want to play, y'all, because I just want to get into it. So today I had the pleasure of watching Joyce Meyer on YouTube, and then I watched a couple of videos of Creflo Dollar on YouTube as well. And for me, normally, you guys, I try to come up with a topic that's catchy, that's trendy, whatever. But I've covered a little bit of this in probably multiple of my episodes. I know there's an episode where I talk about judging. I know there's also an episode where I talk about going 50-50 with everything. So some of the things that I'm going to say are probably just repeating what I've probably already said. But it really hit me today when I was thinking about this, because when they started talking about this, the first thing I got was perception. She put in her mindset, oh man, hey, he's living the life over there. He's got it easy. He doesn't have to deal with the kids. He doesn't have to cook and clean. He doesn't have to deal with what she has to deal with on a daily basis where he goes to work. And to me, also with it being perception, is also a false narrative. You've set in your mind what it is that he really does, because you really know. But in actuality, you really don't. And I think the main reason it hit for me is because I legit was her. When we first had Destiny, my husband and I, when I tell y'all, Devin had maybe, I think, 2 or 3 weeks off, where I had, I think, maybe 2-3 months off to be with Destiny. And y'all, by the time he had to return back to work, I was just like, dude, this ain't it. Like, you're not getting up with the bottle feeding at night. What is this? Child's got acid reflux, so you gotta make sure she burp. You gotta be extra on it, because if not, the child's gonna be all ooh, y'all, and in my mind I was like, all he's doing is going to work. And y'all, I Tiffany, have said before, hey, man, what I wouldn't give to be a dad. They don't have to get up in the middle of the night. They don't have to tend to these children. They don't have to, deal with teachers or deal with potty training, deal with the mommy. And, y'all, I'm guilty of this. I am guilty of this. But listening to this podcast, in between listening to Joyce Meyer and Creflo Dollar, it put my mind in perspective of, I don't know how heavy his weight is, In my mind, I too had a false narrative of, he just go to work. He all right. He go to the gym. He all right. But in actuality, y'all, I don't know what he deals with daily, and I look at it in the perspective of my mom and I have had this conversation before, where it is perceived, if I'm not mistaken, it is perceived that if you have a desk job, that you got the easy life. You're not doing anything. You got an easy life. Like, you're just sitting at a desk all day. But it's like, in my mom's occupation, my mother is a senior customer service rep, so she should hopefully be the last person that you have to get to, unless you have to go to a manager, which will be above her. But it's like, you think, oh, okay, well, she's sitting down all day, but she's dealing with angry customer after angry customer. She's having to fix mistakes that other coworkers are making, or whatever have it, And in your mind, oh, well, she's not running a machine, she's not running a press. She's not doing physical labor. But it's different, because she is in her mind. It's a mental labor that she's doing. And, there are times where I've said the same thing. Oh, well, my husband, he just goes to work. Yeah, my husband's working 12-hour shifts. I'm working 8. When 5 o'clock hit, we got to go. I'm clocking out. Where he goes in at 7, he don't get off till 7. And some nights he works through the night, and he may work another shift, and that's a whole nother 12 hours. And I'm just like, dude, how are you doing this? And his job, although he'll make it seem simple, and he'll be like, oh yeah, I'll just take pictures of people's bones and stuff, and it's just like, no. Even when you said you had to do paperwork, you said you had to check to see if people were having any allergies, and you've got to put needles, IVs in people. No, that's too much. I'm not doing that. But it made me think, y'all, of just one, in a perspective as a wife, of how our perception and our false narratives are when, we have unspoken expectations, and we don't say to our spouse, hey, I'm tired. I need a break, or these kids are really getting on my nerves, and just understanding the other person, and I think you guys get a chance, go watch their podcast, but towards her conversation with him, she even said, there's really no point for me to figure out how heavy your weight is to carry, because what's the point? It's not going to make a difference. And I think the way I also perceived it, tying in my Bible study class that we had tonight, fruits of the Spirit, a lot of the fruits of the 9 fruits of the Spirit all stem back to the same thing of being humble and putting others above yourself. And if we're walking like Christ, then it shouldn't matter if my husband has worked 12 hours, 5 hours, or 6 hours. If there's something in the house that needs to be done and I am physically capable of getting it done, then it should be done. Unless it's killing a bug, y'all. I can't, count me out. I'm not. No. But beyond that, and I look at it in the perspective of that. But then I also look at the perspective of how many times do we look at other females or co-workers or whatever, and we say the same thing. Oh, they got it easy. They don't ever have to do the hard work like we do. They don't ever have to do this like we do. And we don't know what they're going through. We don't know how heavy their weight may be. You know, their weight at work might be light on the outside looking in, but we don't know if the boss stays emailing them nonstop all day long, constantly texting them or something. Y'all, we don't know. And, you know, I look at how we'll perceive people who work from home. Oh, well, they work from home. They must not do anything. They must just be lollygagging all day long at home, or stay at home moms. Oh, man, they don't do anything. They just stay at home. Man, stay at home with your kids and see what you want to see the outside world. Honey. Oh, but hey, honey. I got toddlers, so my story is different. Don't judge me. I got toddlers. It's a different thing. But that's the thing. We have to be mindful of our perspective of other people, but we also have to be mindful of the spirit that's within us. It's not our job to carry anybody else's weight. It's not. And it depends on, or not even carry their weight. It's not my job, nor your job, nor anybody else's job to try to fit in somebody else's shoes. It's not. God gave us our own pair of shoes for us to fit in. He gave us our own pair of shoes and footprints that we're supposed to be following him on. I'm not supposed to get off my course and then jump over here in Sally Mae's shoes and try to follow the course that God gave her, because that's not what he said for me to do. He ain't telling none of us to do that, so let's not do that. What's the saying? You can't walk a mile in somebody's shoes. And you should never try. You shouldn't want to, because that spirit of wanting to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, that's not a God-given spirit. That's the spirit of the enemy. That's jealousy, and that's being envious of somebody. No. And you on the outside looking in, you have no clue what that person may be going through at home. Like, in another podcast that I watch, y'all, I remember a black lady got on there and she said a lot of black women suffer in silence and they never speak up about some of the things that they go through. And that's one thing I don't ever want to do. And I feel like God put me here on this earth to talk, because I do it a lot. I've been doing it since childhood. So I don't think that'll ever be an issue. But I will say, you know, in the black community, we have that whole, oh, well, what goes on at home stays at home, the Vegas or whatever. No. Sometimes it helps other people when we talk. And it's not necessarily trying to put your business out there, but it's trying to bless somebody else. That's what God wanted us to do, and to be a blessing for other people. You know, half of our purpose is to bless other people. It's not to keep all our blessings. You can't hold it all, and you can't take it with you. You know, be a blessing to somebody else. And I say that to say, you know, I don't know what anybody's perception of me is, and I don't even know if that sentence was correct, but I'm just gonna say, you know, there was a time, and it probably was 2 or 3 times, where I was suicidal. There were times where I had suicidal thoughts. I literally wrote out a letter one time when I was suicidal. And y'all, it's not funny. It's not something I'm proud of, but it is something that I battled. It is something that definitely, that spirit got on me. I was a willing vessel to the enemy and was willing to give my life up on this earth. This was pre-children and post-children. And y'all, I couldn't tell y'all, you know, I could tell you how good God is, because God literally blocked all of that. All of it. Pre and post-children. So I am a living, walking testimony. You know, I've lived through a lot, even to just be 34. But God is so good. And I don't want to walk in nobody else's shoes. I struggle enough in my own 2 shoes to try to get through the day to day, to try to get through certain stuff. But what I've learned, even in our Bible study tonight, is you've got to be humble and you've got to be a willing vessel to God. And y'all, I just pray that by doing this podcast that somebody learns something, you know, whether it be just funny facts about me, but also learn Jesus, you know. He is the one. Whew, hallelujah. So I just want to tell y'all, we cannot walk them out in nobody's shoes, and we shouldn't want to. Let's focus on the man above and focus on ourselves. If you see the opportunity to be a blessing to somebody else, whether it be your spouse, whether it be a best friend, sister, auntie, cousin, whatever it may be that blessing for somebody else, because none of us know what we all stand in the need of prayer for. So by all means, learn something, use it, be a blessing. See you guys next week. Bye.